The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the neighborhood meeting for the Benton Park Dental Development, Official Development Plan Amendment. I'm Amy Johnson. I am the project planner and your contact at the city for this project, and I will be giving you an overview and introducing other staff members as well as the applicant, and they will be giving you a presentation as well. So here's our agenda for this evening. At any time, if you have a question, feel free to enter it into the question box as shown here and include your name and address, and a staff member will read them aloud and we will address them after the presentation. So again, this is the Benton Park Dental Official Development Plan Amendment. The site for the overall Benton Park Center is at the northwest corner of 112th Avenue and Sheridan Boulevard. and the lot is at the northeast corner of that center, which we'll show you in greater detail here. There is only one existing development, and that is an emergency medical center, which appears to be closed, at least temporarily right now. And so this dentist office would be north of there along Sheridan. We also have the plat here. And so the purpose of this amendment is to propose a site plan, landscape, and architectural design for this dentist office on this one lot. So the process for reviewing an ODP amendment includes a pre-application meeting, which has already occurred. Then the applicant takes the information they received at that meeting and submits the official development plan amendment. We go through the first round of review by city staff, and then we hold the neighborhood meeting at that early stage so that we can incorporate any input or feedback we receive from the neighbors. And then the applicant takes those changes and submits the application for second and subsequent rounds of review. Then at the end for this project, it is an administrative approval, so we would not have any further public hearings. The ODP, or Official Development Plan Amendment, standards of approval, we have 17 of them in section 11.515 of the Westminster Municipal Code. And we have several staff members who ensure that those are met. I do have those if I need to refer to them, if there are any questions about that. But the city staff in attendance tonight, I will just read off their names for you. And they're available to answer questions at the end as well. We have Heath Klein with Traffic and Transportation, Jennifer Baden, Planning Aid, John McConnell, Principal Planner, Matt Williams with IT, Michael Wright with Engineering, Nathan Enck, Drainage and Stormwater, and Rita McConnell, the Planning Manager. And now we will have Nick Salakia with the applicant who will present more detail on this project for you.
Thanks, Amy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, as Amy mentioned, the project site's on 113th and Sheridan Boulevard, as you can see on the vicinity map there. The client, Legacy Ridge Dentistry, they're actually just across the road on the other side of Sheridan Boulevard at the moment. So they're just southeast of our project site. So they're on the corner of 112th and Sheridan in that area there. So yeah, that's basically the location. And next slide, please, Amy. Okay, so here we just have a basic site plan showing the footprint of the building. It's a little less than 3,500 square feet, single story, so it's a low profile building. Obviously the site plan, the parking, landscaping, site lighting has all been designed per the City of Westminster standards, along with also the original development plan in the Benton Park development, which was, I believe, designed and approved back in 2007. So we kind of use that as a reference to keep it consistent and also update to today's code per Westminster. So as you can see, we have adequate parking for the building and obviously access into the site and landscaping as well. So next slide, please, Amy. Okay, and here's just a kind of a quick sketch of what the building's going to look like. It's more of a modern style, but also still maintaining consistency within the Benton Park development. There's an existing building just south of our project site, which again we used as a reference in designing this building in terms of the materials and colors. So the building has a mix of stone, brick, stucco and some horizontal wood elements, along with steel canopies as well. And the stone incorporates Colorado sandstone tones and colors, which is consistent with the existing building to the south and with the original development plans. So along with the City of Westminster retail design guidelines as well. So that's just a basic sketch of it. And as you can see in the lower image, that's kind of just a 3D view of the location as well to give a better idea. And that's basically the project in a nutshell.
Thank you, Nick. All right, so I do have a correction to make to this slide. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please do enter them into the question box. And as well, if you would like to speak orally, out loud, rather than typing your question in, please just go ahead and type that into the question box here as well, rather than raising your hand. That's a correction to this slide. I want to give anyone the opportunity to enter questions. However, we do not have an end time. So if there are no questions, we will end this meeting early, before an hour. Just to let you know what the next steps would be. And this is our last slide. The developer would revise their plans per any actionable input they received tonight, and then resubmit it for staff review, as mentioned before. If anyone has further questions or comments, they may contact me at this email address shown here, ajohnson@cityofwestminster.us, or my phone number is 303-658-2098. And you can also follow the project on our development status webpage at https. I won't read that whole link there. Hopefully you can get that from the presentation. And I know this is being recorded and later will be uploaded to YouTube. So in case anyone is watching it there after the fact rather than live, you can contact me with questions that way as well. I'll ask Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind putting in the chat box, are there any live attendees right now other than staff and the applicant? Thank you, Jennifer. She tells me there's one attendee. For some reason, I'm not seeing that on here. If you are watching live and you're able to, if you could let us know in the question box if you do not have any questions at this time. John, have you seen any questions come in?
No, Amy, we haven't received any questions.
All right, thank you. I will just look at the time here. And I will return to the screen that has the YouTube links in case anyone wants to come back and watch that later. They can go to youtube.com/user/Westminster.co/videos. Look for the one on this date, March 3rd, 2021. And it should have the name Benton Park Dental associated with it as well. All right, well, seeing no questions, hearing no questions, we may go ahead and adjourn. Can anyone think of anything else to contribute tonight before we go? All right, well, thanks to everyone who joined, including the applicant and staff. Again, I'm Amy Johnson. Let me know if anything else comes to mind after this evening.
Thanks, Amy.
Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. You too.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.